We need to talk. Austin Ekeler has not been looking like Austin Ekeler lately. He has not been hitting in fantasy production, has not been looking the same on the field. And now we're rolling into the fantasy playoffs and some plus matchups, which could be a situation where he could turn things around, but also could be a situation or an instance where he proves that he's dust, and that is really the final nail in the coffin for the 2023 season. But we're not going to know until the games are played. But we're trying to read the tea leaves here so we can project out forecasts for what we want to do for our fantasy football teams, our bets, our DFS lineups, and whatever else. We got some news from Brandon Staley that he's going to be making a competition with Joshua Kelley. We're going to go over that here today. We're also going to go over the news, the facts, and data. But before we do all of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tap it with the finger on the phone. Click it with the mouse on your computer. Whatever you need to do. We go over to Waiver Wire extensively throughout the week. We help you set your lineups. I'm also a key resource for your drafts next year. So if you don't hit that button, you're going to be missing out for sure. But let's dig into this. This is kind of a big deal here as we're seeing a lot of news about Austin Ekeler, Joshua Kelley, Kellen Moore talking this up a little bit. Brandon Staley saying that they're going to have to make a change, that they're going to have to do something. However, it's coach speak. Can we believe this? Can this be something we look into and take it forward? Can we really believe what Brandon Staley's saying? We're going to analyze that today. Are they really going to make it a competition? But Austin Ekeler, as of late, just looking at the fantasy production, because the fantasy production is just points off the stats, really. Week 13, 4.7 PPR fantasy points, 9.4 in Week 12 against Baltimore, 7 against Green Bay. We got 21 against Detroit, 21 against the Jets, 23 against Chicago. That's really not too long ago. But we are on this down streak. We're cold right now. And the Chargers want to change something up, or at least saying it. That doesn't mean they will. That's the thing about that. So we have Staley here. He's going to talk about what's going on with the offense, and then we're going to analyze what he's saying to see whether or not we can believe him.
Just with the running game, is there any thought to giving Josh Kelley more touches just to see if he can spark something, just considering the way things are going right now? Or are you going to stick with the same split there?
Yeah, Daniel, competition. Yeah, I think competition for carries is going to be something that you can see happening. And I think you've seen it on defense, competing for opportunities. So, like I said, when I see keep searching, we're gonna keep exploring, making adjustments, so that we can find that rhythm that I've been talking about, and that's certainly one way to do it.
He said could, not would. Did not give you stable ground with anything. So honestly, it was more like a politician from what I see there. You can really run with it on either angle there from what I see. Just look at that last expression there on his face. That just does not lend certainty to what he was saying. More of a politician, just working the weeds here with the media. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Just giving you a little bit of nuggets there. You could be seeing a change here. You could be. I'd imagine that's just how the players are playing. They may be more quickly to adapt to the new situations, to what's going on. Say if Ekeler is cold, they may be quicker to make a switch. That might be what we're seeing here. That might be what he means by competition. We're in season right now. We're really not going to have too much competition at the running back depth chart this late in the year. We know what you got. Joshua Kelley had the keys to the car here for the Chargers, and he landed on his face. We know that. We had him in fantasy because everybody ran to the waiver wire and got him. He fell on his face too. And the thing about this, we look at the touches here. Beginning of the season, Joshua Kelley was getting a lot of workload, wasn't getting it done. However, Austin Ekeler's been getting a lot of opportunities. It has died down these last few weeks. Some of that's matchup dependent though. Game script, you look at New England, you look at Baltimore. That was a weird game script in general. Green Bay's a weird game script. Then you got Detroit, New York, Chicago. Some of this is game script dependent, but it has been noted by subscribers who are watching. I've noted it too, that he's starting to look a little bit nicked up. Something's going on with him. I can say that. I can't say that he's officially dust. I can say that maybe once the season's over, we'll catch some news that he's dealing with an injury that didn't get reported or something. I would not be surprised about that. But I can really say that it has not been looking good these last few weeks. I can say he's been on a cold spell, but I'm really not throwing him out with the bathwater just yet. However, you look at this team. First off, when you look at the Chargers here, they're last in rated run blocking in the NFL, and that's per PFF. I know a lot of you guys question the grades. However, if they're off, they wouldn't be off that much, and that kind of makes sense because Josh Kelley couldn't fire. Austin Ekeler's been up and down. Austin Ekeler's fantasy production really has to be game script dependent now. That's something to look at. Austin Ekeler, though, he's seeing the snap share, he's seeing the touch share, he's getting a decent target share. Good enough to allow him to be fantasy relevant. And if we do get competition and Joshua Kelley starts getting more opportunities, it has to be because Ekeler's starting off cold and they really got to change things up. Because it's really hard to go back to Kelley after what we saw in the beginning of the season and be like, yep, we're making this big change, because he too fell on his face. And you know what? Ekeler is just cold right now. Maybe he runs hot, maybe he gets back, maybe he's dealing with something. We don't know. We do not know what's going on. We do know that this offensive line is graded very low at the run blocking department, 42.1. I got it circled there. I know this is hard. We got a lot of charts here, but we're looking at a yards per carry. Austin Ekeler, 3.5 on the season, getting 55% of the rushing attempts on the year. Joshua Kelley, with 3 more games played, has 31%, 4 yards per carry. They're roughly close to the same there on efficiency. Eckler's got more pop, more juice, better in the passing game. He's more dynamic. We obviously like him better than Kelley, but still, the thing about the Chargers, the thing about this running back situation is that we're running into matchups here that is very grandiose for Ekeler to hit. You got Denver this week. You can't get much better than that. Well, you can. It could be called the Cardinals, but you can't get much better than Denver. Then you got the Raiders. That Bills one is going to be a little bit interesting because they're just in weird game scripts. I can just say that. It's hard to predict with the Bills. And then in the championship week, you got the Broncos again. Denver twice and the Raiders, prime matchups. And that Bills game could be a prime one too for production. Really depends on how that game script swings. But really, this is a lane here or an alley of games where he can get right, turn the ship around, and be a top-tier fantasy producer, and do that quick and in a hurry, and be a league winner. Also, this is a slew of games where he can prove to be dust. Honestly, if he's not getting it done in Week 14, then they're probably bringing in Joshua Kelley. They're splitting up the workload, and it's not going to be fun for the rest of the season, and that's going to give us a huge indicator for next year, or that's going to be an indicator that he was dealing with something like an injury or playing through something, and it wasn't really reported. We did not get that information. We're not going to find that out till spring, until the off season. But right now, my take for this video is that this week is dire for Austin Ekeler, his production, how he looks on the field. If not, Joshua Kelley is probably going to start eating workload in week 15, 16, or whatever down the line. We had this take with Tony Pollard where he needed to do well against the Carolina Panthers. We're going to see Rico Dowdle start stealing some work. That being said, he went off in that game. He did enough to get the job done. Maybe we get that with Ekeler this week. That could happen. But honestly, we got to keep our eyes on this matchup. We got to keep our eyes on Austin Ekeler. And the thing about him for the rest of the season is that he's going to be dicey this week. And he's going to be a hard guy to predict for your lineups. And that's just how it is going to be in general. Just a hard guy to really want to go after, setting your lineups, and feel good about it. Because you know Joshua Kelley and the team, the inefficiencies and all that stuff, the cold streak that's looming over your head. But we do have a matchup here. We do have a get-right game. It could happen. Another thing is the media's been down on him. Usually when that happens, that could allow a player to just reverse the flow, because it's not like he's a bad player all of a sudden. We just got a 3-game skid right now, and that could be the thing. I'm right in the middle. I'm neutral. I'm not fun with my takes here, but honestly, Week 14 is going to be huge. Week 14 is going to be the catalyst for the rest of the season with Austin Ekeler. We're just going to have to put our seatbelts on and enjoy the ride. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.